James Ferrara, President of InteleTravel, welcome. Please, can you give us an update on the size of the global membership and specifically the UK membership? How quickly are you growing the UK?
Sure, Charlie. And first of all, thank you for having me with you. I'm a big fan of Travel Mole, been reading it for many years. We're also in Mexico and the Caribbean, several countries in the Caribbean. Worldwide, InteleTravel has now over 40,000 independent contractors, independent travel agents. In the UK, we have, in a very short period of time, over 2,500 independent contractors throughout all the UK. It's not just in London, we're in the Midlands, we're in Wales, we're in Scotland, we're in Northern Ireland. So the acceptance, the interest in what InteleTravel offers has been tremendous.
How are you recruiting for new members, and how big do you plan to be in the UK? Have you set targets?
We haven't set a goal because this is exploratory. We don't know how big the market is for us, for agents. It isn't just about numbers. We all tend to talk about numbers quite a bit because the industry is unused to the scale that InteleTravel works at. But it isn't just quantity, of course. It's also quality. So there is no specific goal for any number of agents in the UK. We'd like to see what the market brings.
What about suppliers? Are you attracting new supplier partners, and which areas of the industry are you focusing on?
So suppliers are where it gets really exciting. The acceptance from suppliers in the UK, like our supplier partners in the US and elsewhere, has been tremendous. Every major brand is either contracted with us or in talks with us, many of them unsolicited, especially since the news of our APTA membership last month. As our UK director, Tricia Handley-Hughes, puts it, the phone is ringing off the hook. The suppliers, their goal is distribution, right? So if there is a new model for distribution and that model has a history and that model has performance and that model has potential in their eyes in a new market, then of course suppliers are very interested in exploring it. What we've heard from a couple of partners is that they are hopeful for a new large-scale player on the agency side in the UK. They'd like to see some diversification at the top level of the marketplace in the UK, and they believe that InteleTravel has the potential to offer them.
Congratulations on the APTA membership. Did InteleTravel have to adapt its business model to meet APTA's membership requirements? If so, how?
So it's I look at that in a different way. Our promise going into the UK was to build a UK product and service, not to bring an American product and service here and sort of force a square peg into a round hole. We fashioned the UK version of InteleTravel from the ground up. What I will say is that APTA was an invaluable partner in that process. In my last meeting with the APTA membership committee, prior to their vote, just prior to their vote, I left the room making a very sincere statement to them, which is, I believe the APTA process made us a better company. So we certainly have to meet regulatory requirements in the UK, APTA's code of conduct in the UK. So there are those adaptations to what we would normally do in the US. But also there's a different business model here, even on the payment and settlement of transactions in the UK. In the US, we work for the most part on a gross model. Payment is made to the partner using the customer's credit card information, but directly to the partner, and then the agency receives a commission back from the partner, usually after the travel is consumed, after it's complete. In the UK and in other markets around the world, the payment is made by the customer to the agency. The agency turns around and makes payment or settlement with the supplier. So we've had to adapt a lot of our systems, our commission systems, our tracking systems, our payment systems, and reconciliation. So in that sense, it's a different service and product here, a UK service and product. The other thing is that it is a regulated industry in the UK, and it is not in the US. Right? It's famously deregulated. However, I get asked about that a lot. There is regulation in the US. It just comes from various different bodies in the US, but if you were to sort of put it all together, it amounts to, I believe, the same nature of protection for consumers that the regulations do in the UK. It's just a different way of getting there. But here in the UK, we've had to make sure that our agents understand the regulations and are compliant. And so we built an educational system. And I know that this was very important to happen. We built our own educational system, which requires agents to know certain things and to pass a test and to pass it with 100% compliance before they're allowed to trade. And then we took it a step further. We do some secret shopping. We use the same service that supports APTA and other industry players in the UK, a company called Debbie Gale and Company. And Debbie's business secret shops our agents who pass our test just to make sure that they're compliant in the practical application of all that information. And we're getting incredibly high marks. And I have to say, a lot of this is what gave APTA the comfort to approve us. So we were able to back up what we say about our philosophies and our quality. And even, we have a significant track record. It's over 25 years. But we were able to back all of that up with some very practical, innovative things that we're doing that other agencies don't necessarily do in this market. So I would argue that we take education quite a bit further.
You say that the InteleTravel model is different to other home working groups. In what way is it different?
Sure. In the UK, we use the term home workers. In the US, the favored term is host agencies. These are umbrella terms, and they cover a general sense of a model where you have a large network of essentially independent contractors working under a brand. But each company truly has its own flavor of that. Each company has its own style and its own rules and regulations. What truly makes InteleTravel different is that our agents are mostly not experienced in the industry. We are bringing new talent into the industry. And what we've been known for, what we've been lauded for in the US, is this idea of bringing new blood into the travel agent business, bringing new types of talent into the travel agent side of the business, and younger folks interested in a career in the travel agency and travel industry. And we teach them our version of operations, product knowledge, and everything that's necessary to succeed as a travel seller. Suppliers feel they're getting new market share, not just market share that has been swapped from one agency to another, but actually new market share into the industry. Because independent contractors are a very powerful technique to penetrate new markets. If you become an agent of InteleTravel, you may be in retirement after a full and successful career doing something else. You may have another business and you're entrepreneurial, adding InteleTravel on. You may have a full-time job, and InteleTravel is kind of your plan B for income, but watch out, because oftentimes the plan B becomes the plan A after a little bit of success. My point is, you bring a lot to the travel agent desk as an independent contractor from a rich outside life. You may be on the board of your church or some professional organization. You're in clubs as a vibrant individual. And so you're bringing those markets and a warm connection to those markets to the idea of travel selling. And our style of being a home worker agency, where we're not taking agents who used to work on a high street and now they work from home, or they used to work at this home worker agency and next year they're at this home worker agency. It's the same market share, just moving. We're bringing new entrants into the industry with new access to new markets. That's what makes InteleTravel different.
How much of the home worker is about also knowing how to run a business besides selling travel?
Absolutely. You can't succeed. You can sell a few things, but if you cannot organize yourself, if you cannot protect your customers' data, if you cannot balance your books, balance your checkbook, if you cannot make decisions about when to spend on marketing or overhead, ultimately you will not succeed. It'll be a short-lived business. So we do provide that kind of training as well, and we look for candidates who have those kinds of skills. It is absolutely part of the requirement for success in the long run is that you be an intelligent business person. And many of these people, I'm completely surprised by them, Charlie. I'm humbled by many of our agents and how smart they are and how successful they are and how creative they are, innovative they are, how effective they are as travel sellers, how much they know. There was a time when I used to think I could answer any question about travel, any question about the company, and then I knew more than our agents do. And it's been a long time since I've felt that way. The business has become so much more complicated, complex. The industry, our agents so accomplished that I'm often the student as much as I am the teacher.
Are hobbyist agents part of the scheme?
I don't know what that means. I've heard the term in the UK and I've heard it used pejoratively, and I don't really understand what the definition of it is. But if I would take a guess, I would say that that term betrays a prejudice, a person who is stuck in an old definition of what a travel agent is. And if you cannot let that go, if you cannot open your mind to the new gig economy, the collaborative economy, the convenience economy, the way the world works today, how social media affects business. If you can't wrap your mind around all of that, then you look at part-time home worker agents as hobbyists. But it is a prejudice. What travel agents look like has changed and will change again, by the way, in the future, and has changed in the past. You know, the OTAs, the online travel agencies, the Opedos and Travelocities and Expedias were the devil 10 or 15 years ago. And that pendulum has swung completely now to the point where major brands like Marriott are breaking free of the grip that those OTAs had on the business. But many travel agents at the time said, don't let them in, they're not legal, they don't pay taxes, they don't, and we railed against the heavens, you know, that change was being attempted. And of course, railing against the heavens never does anything but, you know, eventually give you a sore throat. You cannot fight change. You must embrace change. To have a business with any longevity, you have to stay ahead of change. And looking at home workers of any type, not just mine, but home workers of any company, as hobbyists is an attempt to block out the change, an attempt to stop the change. Is there something wrong with someone who sells travel part-time or has another 9-to-5 job and sells travel in the evenings or on the weekends, and they're good at it, and they're responsible with it, and they're connected with an excellent company, they're backed up by service and support, commission tracking, and duty of care, and all of the things that a good travel agency provides? Is there anything wrong with that model? Is it illegal? Is it immoral? Is it ineffective? I can say no to all of those things. I have 28 years to prove how effective it is. So hobbyist is not the current modern way to look at it.
You have said that some of your members are teachers and accountants. What other professions do they come from? Are there any particular surprising or unusual ones?
Well, so real estate agents, brokers, people who are already in sales, people who already do sort of customer service and client service, they have a stable of clients. Those people are naturals. Teachers was always a surprise to me, but of course, teachers are open-minded. They need to make additional money in their off seasons. Teachers have always been very interested in travel, or let's say they understand the value of travel, which in itself is a kind of learning and a kind of education, right? So, and teachers need extra money. So they've been an interesting one. Retirees are also not surprising. People who need additional income or want to use the life experience from the first part of their life in some way, in some productive way, and also who want to be involved in travel, obviously. So that isn't it. The surprising ones are sometimes the occasional celebrity or major sports player, but you know, anyone with an audience makes a great potential travel seller, right? Sometimes we get people who are quite well off, you know, and their circle of influence is extremely affluent, very high end. And of course, we love to get those people because they sell luxury products and experiences. But it always surprises me that they're interested even in doing it. And someone once said to me, and this kind of connected to me, that people who have money understand the value of money, and so understand this kind of opportunity. I'm constantly surprised by the profile of agents. We also have, I don't want to discount or disrespect, that we do have people from the industry. But it's not our model. We don't target them. We do have former high street agents. We do have a lot of associated industry people, hospitality, hotel, airline, former airline people. Why? Because it immediately makes sense to them. They already have a familiarity with the travel market, and the opportunity makes good sense to them. Our former high street folks, we don't provide a home-based GDS, direct connection to the GDS. We don't provide some of the systems and services that I would think a former high street agent would need. However, we do get some of them. Our business proposition is so reasonable, the cost so low to get all the services and support of InteleTravel, and all of our purchasing power and contract negotiations on the product side, that it makes a lot of sense to them. And coming back around to the education, what I hear constantly from that profile of agent is that what we do for education is unlike anything they experience from the traditional side of the industry.
Is that training predominantly online? What kind of in-person opportunities are there?
I'm so glad that you asked that, because I think there is a misconception going around that the only training we offer is that upfront regulatory training. And in fact, that's 1% of the training that we offer. So there is online classwork that you have to do to satisfy a regulatory requirement, and you have to take the test. Then, after that, we have several webinars a week with our supplier partners on product training. We have webinars of our own on sales and business skills every week. We have live training around the country. So we've already been in Birmingham, Leeds just recently, Manchester, and London over and over again. We're heading to Scotland this summer, and Wales is on my list. We haven't gotten there yet. So we take our training on the road. This little pen, if you can see it, that I'm wearing, is Dreammaker, certified Dreammaker. That is our first step live in-person training. And we're going into these cities and putting 250 agents in a room for an entire Saturday. First of all, what other agency is doing that? And we do it in the U.S. in 20 cities around the U.S., plus we do it in Mexico, and we do it in the U.K. So 250 agents in a room for 6 or 8 hours with our supplier partners there doing presentations, a trade show, Debbie Dale teaching on customer service, Tricia Hughes, our UK director, who has helped us build this UK product. She's there doing training, and that's Dreammaker. We go beyond that. There's other online training to get more skilled. We call it Vacation Builder and Travel Genius. We have a international convention that was just held on the Norwegian Epic in the Caribbean with 2,000 of our agents on board, making it the largest travel agent event in the United States, and it's for one agency. It's larger even than CLIA Cruise 360 in the US. Then we have our UK convention, which is happening in Glasgow this summer. And we do individual events with suppliers. We have a couple of suppliers hosting events in Southampton and in London for our agents. We do ship inspections, onboard ship inspections that we organize. We do luncheons. We do email information, obviously. I mean, we do a podcast every month, Charlie, we could do an hour just on the education at InteleTravel. Now, contrast that to one of my agents who sat across from me on my last trip to London and said, when I was a high street agent for XYZ, which is a top brand in the UK, for XYZ company, we never got any of this, not one bit of it. I was sat in front of a desk and I was made to learn on the job. And I don't disrespect that, but what InteleTravel does is very different.
How do members get their sales leads? Do they rely purely on their own connections? Is a referral service tied to some central marketing? Or is that something that might come later down the line?
InteleTravel is based on the philosophy that every individual has a sphere of influence. And we promote the mining of your own personal relationships where there is already a bond of trust. We promote the mining of those relationships to sell travel. We do not promote advertising, paid advertising, or spending much money on marketing. When you're a home worker, what I don't want to see you do is dig yourself a big financial hole. So there is a way to do it that does not require that kind of marketing. We do not promote leads in the UK. We have a pilot program in the US right now using our incredible technology, our web assets to create traffic and distribute that traffic to individual agents. And we'll consider doing that in the UK also. But the heartbeat of our concept is for you to sell to your friends and family and then move beyond them to develop a referral business.
Is ATOL protection something you are looking into or planning?
Absolutely. After the changes in the law last year, I don't know how you can be a retail agency, which is our primary interest, is to be a retail agency, okay? Not an organizer. However, with the changes in the PTR, the package regulations, I don't know how you can do it anymore in the UK without being licensed, without ATOL. So we already have applied for ATOL license and are well into the process. How long that takes is, I'll leave ATOL to comment on that. Our philosophy from the start, from 2 years ago, when I began working on a presence in the UK, my philosophy has never wavered from we need to be APTA, we will be in complete compliance with all rules and regulations, we will strive for the respect of our peers and our industry. That's the way we do it. You don't have to do it that way. I get that. There are companies, well-known ones, in the UK who are not APTA members or who have a more disruptive approach, and that may work for them. We are not disruptors.
Millennials, you mentioned young people as new members in the UK. Are they a large percentage? How important are millennials to the future of InteleTravel?
Well, it seems that every day goes by and they become a larger and larger group. Overall, I would say there's something in the 25% category of our current agent base, but they are moving quickly. I have met agents in their early 20s with us who have hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, for example. They're already social media influencers. They swim in that world, and they are figuring out how to monetize that through selling travel. And I couldn't be more excited. I think the industry needs to make that turn. You and I both have been in the industry a long time. And in the US, anyway, I'll speak. I've gone to a lot of travel agent programs and events. And, you know, the average age makes you and I youngsters, the average age of travel agents at those events. The industry needs an injection of younger people thinking in more current ways, taking advantage of technology, certainly, and social media, but also understanding how the younger generations, and let's talk millennials, how millennials make their decisions about travel, how to communicate with them, what platforms are they on, what messages are they open to, what role do they want to play in the travel booking process. You know, CLIA has just put together some incredible research. It has not been published yet, but they revealed it at their premier member summit. And InteleTravel is proud to be one of only about 25 agencies in the world that are premier members of CLIA. And their research VP revealed that the number one reason why people don't use travel agents is because they think they can do it themselves and they enjoy doing it themselves. So if our message as agents, particularly to younger people, is we can do it for you, you should let us do it for you, that's a little alienating to them. They want to be part of the process. We need to shift our message in those markets. Unlike baby boomers who want things done for them, millennials, they want to partner with us on the travel research and booking process. So it's, I can do it with you. It's a different message. So in any case, our young folks are bringing in not only younger travelers, but they're bringing in new techniques and new communication methods to sell travel. And that is very exciting. We actually have a program in September with Royal Caribbean, but sponsored by many of the brands who address the millennial market. Our sponsors are G Adventures, Kontiki Holidays, U by Uniworld, the sort of more active, younger river cruise product, and the brands Royal Caribbean Celebrity and Osmara. And we're doing a 7-day cruise. It's called Project Next Gen. And the whole thing is an agenda teaching how to sell to millennials, what techniques, what communication, the research behind it, and so on.
In the recruitment process, is passion for travel important? If so, how do you look for that?
You know, it's very important. It's very important in anything you do, not just travel. I hate to think of people out there doing something 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and they don't have a passion for it. Of course, I understand that happens. But in the hospitality business, in the restaurant business, we used to use a little trick. You had someone coming in for an interview. You'd sit on the far end of the dining room and kind of mess up the tables and chairs along the way so that when they came in to meet with you, you could watch them make their way through the dining room and you could gauge how naturally graceful they were. It was a little trick as part of the interview. We don't have those physical tricks for the travel business, but we do have, some things that we look for. People who have experienced travel, people who can describe their likes and dislikes of what they've experienced in travel. And also, honestly, a natural sense of hospitality. Is it clear that you care about other people and that you will take care of other people. These are nebulous things. You can't ferret them out on a written exam. And essentially the cream rises to the top, Charlie. The folks who have it do well, and the folks who don't. But there are a lot of people out there with a passion for travel. If you have a passion for travel and you have a little facility with technology, you could be a great independent travel agent for InteleTravel.
James Ferrara, President of InteleTravel, thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure, Charlie. I hope that helps you and your readers understand a little bit more about InteleTravel. There is nothing to fear here. We are going to burnish the reputation of the industry in the UK. We are going to add to the travel business pie, to the pool, not take away from it. We aren't going to harm anybody. We haven't harmed anybody in 25 years. We take care of our customers. We take care of our agents. We are excellent, award-winning partners to our suppliers. So I hope everyone in the industry welcomes us with a friendly professionalism. And I thank you.
Have a great day, James. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir.